Hello everyone, hope you're doing great. So today we are going to start and understand this editorial, the Hindu editorial, the article that came in the editorial. This article is on the SilverLine project, the SilverLine project that is happening in Kerala, which aims to connect the northern end of Kerala to the southern end through a rapid high speed train transportation system. Now, the article is written by Professor Balakrishnan. He's a very eminent professor at Ashoka University. And this article tells us about that how Silverline project has so many questions, but the government is still not able to answer it, and hence this project might be something that was regressive in nature, that is anti-development. That's why the article name is written like this. First, the professor talks about how what are the first concerns with the project. So first of all, he explains us key what are the problems really happening, and which he focuses on. First of all, ecological issues. So there are so many people who are concerned with this issue. There are ecologists who are concerned. So we have Madhav Gadgil, we have Sreedharan, who was the Metro Man of India. We have Prashant, Bhushan, and Medha Patkar. All of them are concerned with the ecological concerns of this project. First of all, second, we have Kerala Sahastra Sahitya Parishad, which is also a significant body and perceived fellow traveler of the left parties now in power. Now, this is also something that we have to take care of, that all the parties that are voicing against this project. Next is we have to understand, right, what the problem is that they are having. So the problem is that detailed project report, a standard practice which brings transparency to the large scale public infrastructure projects, is not being uploaded. Since then, the Kerala government has hurriedly uploaded a related document on a restricted site. So this is what they're claiming, and they're also claiming that there's going to be a huge ecological damage to it. Next, the beautiful line that he quotes and says is that this project will be like an invitation to environmental disaster, mainly through flooding. And this line has been said by E. Sreedharan, who was the famous railway engineer, who is actually the famous railway engineer. And he described this project as this invitation to environmental disaster, mainly through flooding. Now, to understand why these people are concerned is because the government, as the government is not answering any of their questions or not paying heed to any of the criticism that the government is facing right now. So the government is responding by stonewalling. Stonewalling is actually ignoring the concern expressed by citizens. A government showed itself to be distant and authoritarian. So you have to understand this. Moral right is of the citizens to be heard on matter with a bearing upon ecological future of the state. So when this issue gives us the ecological future of the state, so this issue needs to be heard by the government. So the government, rather than attempting to manufacture consent on its schemes, it's basically present government is doing India changing. So it says that it gives us a very beautiful example of 1970s when Indira Gandhi, as a charismatic and strong leader, responding to a long drawn agitation against the Hydel project in Palakkad district, declared that the Silent Valley threatened by it will be protected, and it took a little longer for the project proposal to be dropped altogether, but it was finally dropped. So this comes out as an example for you, as this happened before also, where Indira Gandhi was governing a project, and that project had to be scrapped off because of ecological concerns. Now, all right. So the next most important criticism of this project is a very high cost. Now, why are they saying that this project is a very is a like a white elephant? White elephant. Why are they saying this white elephant? Because white elephant is something that also has an initial cost, and also it takes a huge time and effort, and the maintenance cost is present. So that's why it's a white elephant. Now, publicly provided. So what they're saying is that people what they're saying is that people are willing to pay for the new service. First of all, they're saying that you have to understand the sentiments of the people also, whether people are agreeing that they will pay for, I mean, they want to travel by this train or not. So the government does not have these statistics also, whether how successful the project is going to be if the project comes into light. The next important thing that he tells us is that it tells us that there should be a survey that should be conducted, were to be conducted. The truthfulness of the survey would be again a main mood. Understanding the reliability of such surveys would be a very big concern for all the people. Now, in the next and the last part, they tell us that Silverline has been hinted that the complementary infrastructure that will be built, such as underpasses, their cost has not been incorporated, and the cost of it is going to be substantial. So that they mean to say is that the government, to portray that this was a very low cost project, they're not including the cost of the complementary infrastructure that has to be put up. So then hence what they're expecting is that the return would be much lower than anticipated, because at the end of the day the government needs to pay attention to what the people want, and the government right now is determined to have high visibility technological marvels and manage to somehow ensure that project cost is pitched unreasonably low. How will they pitch it low? By not including the cost of some complementary infrastructure. The government is not taking into consideration whether people are going to use it or not. What if the project fails after it's made? People are not using the services of the silver line. So that is a very big question mark that these eminent professors are putting in. Now, detailed project is essential. So what they're saying is that an external scrutiny of the detailed project is essential, and global accountancy giants have in the past proved unreliable as a source of disinterested advice when high fees are at stake. But India has highest financial expertise available. So the state already strapped with high per capita. So what they're saying is that state also has other things to take care of. Why doesn't it take care of all those things? Like the state already strapped with high per capita public debt cannot afford to be saddled with another white elephant. So the state is already under so much debt, so it cannot be able to finance this. And financial viability, at the end he's saying financial viability is the sole criteria, is not the only sole criteria for investment planning. There is no universally, there's a very beautiful line that the professor says is that there is no universally accepted method for imputing a monetary value to the environmental threat that is posed by this, just a minute, yes, posed by this project, uh, with a great geographic reach as Silverline. So, as you all know, Silverline is embassing from north to south. Entire Kerala would be covered by this, spanning entire length of the state. Essential that judgment be deployed in the case. Judgment of citizens be deployed in this case. Now he's giving us a solution as to what Kerala needs right now. He says that state is already connected with roads and rails. A light rail built on an astronomical cost such as this is hardly necessary. He says this is not necessary at the moment. The state has the highest road density in the country, and the government sees secondary railway as priority for the state today. That is also a very questionable thing on the government as to why are they doing this. The next most important thing is that what the state needs to do is to find an alternative that is, there are so many things that the state can do. First of all, is steady power supply based on green energy, provision of safe drinking water, urban sewerage, building infrastructure on the scientific disposal of waste. So these are the things that state could focus on, but instead, what they're focusing on is the Silver Line project. Would address most of our pressing needs today. yield high social returns, and contain progressive environmental degradation in the state. So he has provided us with the alternative as to what the state can look into rather than going for the SilverLine project. This is a very brilliant article written by Professor Balakrishnan, and you all can go through this. This was the Hindu article on 19th January. This article is very important for the perspective of debate of environment versus development. So a railroad is necessary in a state, but environment is also very important for the state. It cannot degrade the environment and build infrastructure project just keeping not keeping in mind the environment. So hence this can come in your environment section also, ecology and environment portion, and the developmental schemes of the government also, what the government needs to take care of. So that was it. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and all the best, and make sure you do share and subscribe. We'll be coming with more such videos like this. All right, thank you everyone.